friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to tackle my graphic novel TBR. So I currently have 5 things on the very bottom of this bookshelf over here that are either graphic novels, comics, or manga that I need to read, and all of them are graphic novels except for one's a manga. But that's what I keep on the very bottom shelf of this bookshelf over here. If you watched my bookshelf tour, you will have noticed that. But these are the 5 books that are currently unread on that shelf down there. So I'm going to go through them, and then over the next couple of days I'm going to read them and then tell you my thoughts and feelings about them, and then I'll be done with what I currently have on that bottom shelf. So the first thing that I have is All Summer Long by Hope Larson. I recently hauled this. It's set in summertime, so it's a perfect time to tackle this. Next up, I have Volume 2 in the Babysitter's Club. This was reimagined by Raina Telgemeier, but the original book series was written by Anne M. Martin, and it's very nostalgic for me because when I was a little girl, I used to read the books as they released, and I loved the first volume, so I'm happy to dive into the second volume. The third book on this list is Cheese Sweet Home Part 3. This is the one and only manga on this list, but I read parts 1 and 2. It's the story of this sweet little cat named Cheese. This is the third part of Cheese Sweet Adventures with this family and life and just meeting other cats in the neighborhood, and I can't wait to dive in. Fourth book on this list is Be Prepared by Vera Broskall, and this is also set in summertime, I'm assuming, because it's about camping and hiking and stuff like that. But she ends up going to the camp where all of the girls are like 5 years older than she is, so it sounds like it's going to be really cool, and I love the green color palette. And the last book on this TBR is Marbles, Mania, Depression, Michelangelo, and Me, a graphic memoir by Helen Forney. That's a very long title, but this is about her diagnosis with bipolar disorder and kind of her descent and being terrified about the medications and losing her creativity. So this is her years-long struggle to find mental stability without losing herself or her passion. And I've heard nothing but good things from Sylvia at Wish Fulfillment, and I finally have a copy, so I'm putting it on this TBR. If I am able to tackle these 5 books, I will have tackled my current physical, like already own graphic novels and 1 manga. So it is my goal over the next couple of days to complete these, and I will check in with you guys and let you know how that is going. Friends, I'm here to update you on some of my graphic novels. I've read 3 of the 5. The first one that I read was All Summer Long by Hope Larson. I really enjoyed this. It's a slice of life summer for 2 middle grade kids that are spending their first summer apart, and they're best friends. One is Bina, one is Austin. Austin is going away to soccer camp, and Lena is trying to figure out how to spend her summer all by herself. I really enjoyed it. I rated this 3 stars. Next up, I read The Babysitter's Club. This was by Raina Telgemeier, but it's like a redone version from Anne M. Martin's, and this is a super nostalgic series for me. This is volume 2 in the series. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them of the graphic novel variety, and I really did enjoy this. I like that it tackles like heavier topics such as diabetes. One of the main characters in here has diabetes, and since this is called The Truth About Stacy, you can probably guess that it's Stacy that has diabetes and how she's going about taking care of herself and her parents worrying about like doctors and stuff like that. But it also, there's like a rival like babysitters agency that the girls are having to combat as well. So I really enjoyed this, and I rated it 4 stars. Then I just finished reading Be Prepared, and I enjoyed this one as well. Probably not as much as the other ones, but it was really well done. Another slice of life of 2 characters going to summer camp, a Russian summer camp because the main character is Russian. And what I liked about it is in the back, she talked about her experience and how she really did, you know, go to summer camp twice, about how this is, you know, part fiction, part nonfiction, kind of like mixed together to make the story more interesting. And then she included one of her actual letters home to her mom, and then it just has like some additional sketches and stuff like that in the back. I did love the color palette of the green, so great choice on the art. And I did love the art style, but I just wish that it would have had like a little bit more meat to the story other than just going to this camp and feeling like an outsider, even though you're a Russian and you're going to a Russian camp. So I wanted a little bit more from the story, but I still really did enjoy it, and it's a super quick read, so I recommend it for that reason alone. But so far I have accomplished 3 of them, and I gave these 3 stars and this one 4 stars just because they're all middle grade, but this one does tackle some heavier issues, and I'm just so nostalgic for this series. It's been a couple days, but I have finally finished Marbles by Ellen Forney, who is a comic person. This is her graphic memoir about her diagnosis. A couple of days before she turned 30, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and this is her memoir figuring out that disorder, the balance of the meds, if it's going to mess with her creativity and so forth. It's done completely in black and white. It feels very mixed media because there are like drawings and different pictures, lots of text on a page, you know, not so much text on a page. Some of her drawings, some of her comic strips, when, you know, just regular kind of layout and stuff like that. So for that reason, it was kind of hard to transition from page to page, chapter to chapter. It also dealt with a very, you know, hard topic of bipolarism and the ups, the downs. I felt like I learned a lot from this. So that was pretty interesting. It talked about a lot of other artists. There's like little simple minimalist drawings like this. But what I liked about it is that she met with her doctor like pretty much once a week, and was able to discuss like what she was doing, how she was feeling, and they tried different meds, and she talked about the side effects of each of those and how they worked for her as an individual. She also covered how while one thing may work for one person doesn't mean it's going to work for another, and how there's different types of bipolar, how it affects different people and stuff like that. But the biggest thing was she was so worried, oh no, I'm bipolar now, I have to be on these meds, that's gonna, you know, squash my creativity. And I just think that it was very well done. It kind of covered her life and her friends and trying to still work, but it did mainly focus on her diagnosis of bipolarism, and it was hard to read at times. It was very chaotic and scatterbrained, how I'm sure like she was feeling at times. But yeah, I overall found it really interesting. This is just like super hard to rate because I enjoyed it, but it was such a like contrast of different, you know, it was kind of hard to read because it was like so different page to page. But at the same time, I thought I learned a lot, and I don't know, it's really hard to read, but I really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for maybe a graphic novel type book that deals with mental illness, such as bipolarism, definitely check it out. I don't even know if I'm technically using that word right, bipolarism, but it's when someone's bipolar, or at least that's how I'm using it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thanks to Sylvia for recommending it a very long time ago. And now I have one more graphic novel before I wrap up my TBR. Reading Cheese Sweet Home part 3 of the manga series that I'm reading. It's the only manga series that I'm reading. I am looking for suggestions, for recommendations of manga that have been redone in the American style, like from front cover to back cover, and it reads left to right. So it reads like an American graphic novel or comic or something like that. So if you know of any mangas that have been like redone like this, please let me know, because I think there's only one more part, and then I'll be done with the series. So I'm definitely looking for more to get into, and I always see these mangas that I'm really interested in. I like ones that are done in color like this one, but I'm interested in trying something else out. But I have tried several times to read manga, you know, written the traditionally way, and I just can't do it. I have to focus a lot to remember how to read it, and I'm sure I could practice and like get better at it, but it takes me out of the story, so then I'm not really enjoying it, so then I just put it aside and end up reading something else anyway. Absolutely love this manga series. It's just so cute and so adorable. This little cat going on adventures. She's so innocent and so sweet and so friendly, and I love her, like she's making friends and like showing the friends around, and they're hanging out and going on adventures. But I have accomplished my goal by reading this. This is the last one in this little like tackle my TBR thing. Let me know if you want me to do this with like maybe my poetry, or maybe, you know, one of the other genres that I have, or something like that. I'm so happy that I finally tackled these since they've been sitting on my TBR for a while. But that's all for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!